Hi, everybody. So, as you guys know, you guys are working through Michelle Zauner's Crying H Mark. So, I hope you guys enjoying this book. But as I've been reading it, I've been a little bit concerned um, that Michelle Zauner thinks you guys are experts in Korean cuisine because she frequently, like every 2 pages, mentions some Korean dish, which, unless you are from Korea, lived in Korea, or are very close to the Korean community, you're like, I have no idea what food she's talking about. And you lose something there, right? So I got a couple of suggestions with you guys to help you because food is critical to her memoir of her life with her mom and losing her mom and her connection with food. And by the way, that's something probably a lot of you guys can relate to, right? I mean, who doesn't like to eat, especially if the food is delicious? Um, but when you're reading her book, she frequently mentions like this dish, and you're really like, this dish is so good. I really liked it. And you're like, okay, yeah, but I have no idea what you just said. So I got a couple of suggestions for you. So the first one is when you come across a dish she mentioned, just Google it. Now, again, if you never had the dish, Googling it, looking at a picture of it's not going to like exactly explain like what that is, but it'll really help. So, for example, here on page 43, in the bottom paragraph, she mentions Peter drove us all out to Gongajip, a restaurant that specializes in sundubu jjigae. There it is, sundubu jjigae. And you're like, no idea what that is. Is that like a barbecue? I have no idea what that dish is. Okay, so I got a suggestion for you. Just Google it, right? So if you guys Google sundubu jjigae, right? When you Google it, you'll get a bunch of images. Actually, it's a very hot, spicy soup. It's cooked in a stone bowl. Usually the bowl is about this big. It's cooked, actually, the bowl is stone, so it's cooked on stone over open flame. It's full of a super soft tofu, onions, could be beef, could be seafood. It's hot and spicy. When it comes to the table, it's boiling. It's great because it's in a black stone dish. They're put in front of you on the table. It's literally boiling. And again, since the dish is stone, it still is holding a lot of heat, right? So it's boiling, and they'll bring you a cup of rice right next to it and some side dishes in front of you. So you got this bowl in front of you, steam's just pouring off of it. You can see some of the silken tofu percolating in there, and whatever else. And by the color is kind of white and red because it's spicy. And it depends how spicy you want it. By the way, I love it. You take your spoon and just get some steaming rice and you dip it in there. You get a little tofu, some of the spicy liquid from the soup, and get that in your mouth. Delicious. By the way, you would not know that, right? If you're just reading this, you'd be like, I don't get any of that. So I encourage you guys, again, it won't only take you seconds, but when you come across some term she mentions, Google it. Now, again, looking at a picture online and be like, okay, it's a soup, and that's kind of the end probably of your knowledge for most of you. So the way I deal with this is you know foods that really connect you. It could be things your grandmother cooked, your mom, or someone you love and cared about. So when she's mentioning these Korean foods, I just keep it simple. I just Google them and then think it's probably delicious. It's a good chance it's spicy. If you guys like hot food, a lot of Korean food is hot. It's a good chance it's spicy. And the last one is I encourage you guys to try some of these foods. Now, unfortunately, here in Merced, that's going to be pretty hard, frankly. But I would recommend if you guys go over the Bay Area, there's some really good places over there. In fact, there's even it's called a tofu house in Santa Clara or San Jose. And they specialize in this dish I just mentioned on page 43 called sundubu jjigae. It's delicious. I recommend getting it spicy. There's a variety of different ones, kind of what there'll be silken tofu is the basis of the soup. But do you want seafood? Do you want beef? Like, what do you want added in there as well? Vegetarian, they have mushrooms, vegetables. I recommend, they'll ask you, do you want it spicy, medium, or mild? I recommend probably medium. Spicy might be, well, you guys know each other. Some of you guys can go for spicy, but it's delicious. I recommend it. It's hot. It's fantastic on a cold day. Not just good anytime. I'll take it on a hot day too. Down in LA, there's some very famous tofu places that have that dish as a special. In fact, there's a couple restaurants in downtown LA and Koreatown LA that's all they make is varieties of sundubu jjigae. It's fantastic. You go in there, the place will be packed. But it's not just Koreans. There's a bunch of Americans of all stripes because delicious is delicious, right? So if you guys are curious, you can email me. I'll let you guys know the name of that place down in LA. But there's some good ones over in the Bay Area too. So as you guys are reading, just to wrap it up, as you guys are reading, again, she's mentioned a lot of foods you guys don't know, and yeah, just Google them, get a look at them, and be curious. If you guys like delicious food, there's all kinds of fantastic stuff out in the world. In fact, even for extra credit, if you guys go to one of these places for extra credit, I know there's not much time left in the semester, but if you've never tried Korean barbecue, you've got to try it. There's a place I recommend to you guys in Sacramento called Oz, just O-Z. Oz Barbecue. If you guys like barbecue, never had Korean barbecue, you are missing out. It's a fantastic eating experience. There's all kinds of delicious foods out there. So I just encourage you guys, as you read, just briefly Google it, take a look at it, be curious, find a Korean restaurant, go on Yelp, get some good reviews, and try a couple of dishes if you would like. And I know there's only a few weeks left in the semester. Maybe you guys can't, but keep this in mind for the summer or something. If you guys go down to LA or over the Bay Area, San Jose, for example, has got a lot of good Korean restaurants. There's some good ones in Sacramento. Unfortunately, locally, yeah, there's not a lot here locally, but I encourage you guys. There's some delicious food out there. I hope her memoir perks your curiosity to try it. I love all kinds of food. I love Mexican food, Italian food, Chinese food, Thai food. There's all kinds of fantastic cuisines. My wife happens to be Korean, so I'm blessed, and so I get a lot of good Korean food too. And don't miss out. If you guys like different style, if you guys like spicy and just, yeah, it's delicious. So enjoy Michelle Zauner's book and try some of these dishes she mentions here. I'll be happy to recommend some restaurants to you guys too if you're curious. So, all right, that's it. Enjoy, guys.